Hey everyone, how's it going? MJ here. Man, it's hot here tonight. I'm out in the park, sitting in a chair that somebody left here, like a sofa chair. Jan, how are you? Nice to see you. Fist bump. Wow, good to see you. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Thanks for joining. You know, sometimes in the park here in Taiwan, people will leave, like they'll take their old sofa, and recycle it, or a chair. That's what somebody got. It's like a sofa chair, and or like those modular ones, you'll have like 3 or 4 single chairs you put together and put into a sofa. But I'm doing something that I haven't done for a long time, man. I got my Ceylon Sri Lankan cinnamon, and I have already put some of it into my big pink cup. Yeah, thank you. Boy, it's so hot. I mean, the sweat is dripping like from here down to my ear. It's just kind of crazy. We got like probably about 85% relative humidity. And that's not my favorite. But this is Old Captain, which is a Manila rum. And, well, I gotta tell you, even like not so good Manila rums are still pretty good. So I just poured like the neck down. Gonna take it easy. And I brought some soda water because I have a soda stream machine at the house. I'm gonna put this over here because I don't want to accidentally knock that over. And so I carry a bottle of soda stream carbonated water, and it has been probably, I can't tell you, I don't remember, but when that store across the street from Jar Jar changed and became a Simple Mart, that was the end of the Tondenyo Manila rum. So it's probably been 6 months. I kind of miss that. I love my whiskeys, and nothing more than I like to sit on the TV watching some Curiosity TV and vanilla rum. And like a single malt, just a shot, and sip it for an hour. And I do like whiskey and soda, and I like highballs and that kind of stuff, in sours. But man, just having like a rum, and I put rum and scope in the title. You guys remember that from a long time ago? You can see my shirt, how what it is. I'm doing a lot more bike riding. I have been riding my bike a couple times a week between like 2 and 5 kilometers just to try to get more exercise. And I showed you guys, I had an LED string, and I wrapped the LED string all around the frame, down the seat stays to the dropouts, up the rack on the other side. And I have a little, let me see, if I just do this, there's a little bag here on the front of the bike, and the bag, it just fits over the top too, but you can put like your keys and stuff in it, right, or whatever you want when you're riding. So I have a battery bank in there, and that's where the USB connector, I started the wrap from there, so the whole thing's wrapped. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just take off my bag here. Let me stick my bag on the table. I might as well just show you. Let me go ahead and see if I can get you. So, I got to get out of this sofa chair though. Oh, it's so low to the ground. Oh, I didn't think about that because I didn't give myself room to put my feet to get up. So, okay. Anyway, my shirt in here, look presentable. Now I've got a battery bank in this bag right here. So if I just press the button on the battery bank, it starts up the lights. And so this is program 1. This is program 2, which is a little bit different. 3, 4. I don't like these because they dim. 5. This is pretty visible. It's, pretty flashy. But you can see like it's all in the top tube, the down tube. It goes down the seat stays. It comes up here, it goes on the other side. And so then This is another dimming one. And then they have this, which just basically flashes between both types. I think it does something else. Now they make these in colors too. I didn't get a colored one. I got the white one just to see what it would do, what it looked like. And after I got it, I realized I should put it on my bike. Then they got one that's just steady state. And then the next one would be off. So I like to ride with these lights on because it really helps the drivers to see me at night. Plus I have a really strong front light, and I have a nice backlight too. So yeah, it makes a big difference. And a lot of people think I'm just trying to be cool or like, you know, like a. Sorry, make sure my mic is on okay. You guys can hear me okay, right? I mean, you should be able to. It looks like I got plenty of audio. They just think I'm partying. I saw some Thai guys the other day, and they're like, wow, it looks so cool. I said, yeah, that's not why I did it. I did it so I could be seen at night, because the bike is essentially, I got a black bag on the back, you know, all the hardware on it's black, and I just want to make sure this, hang on, I'm going to move this mic, because I think it keeps rubbing against my chin. Okay, there we go. Excuse me. And, you know, it's a dark blue frame. It does have some reflective writing on it, but when push comes to shove, I mean, the thing is, from front, I've got this really bright light, and in the back, I've got another bright flashing red light, but it's the side-to-side thing. It's being seen on the side. I had put some extra lights on it, the kind that had the rubber strap, and it hooks around, you know, and then, yeah. And the bike sits in my foyer all day, and the foyer is covered. It does have, you know, like translucent panels, but UV light gets in there, and after about 3 months, the rubber in those things popped. And then one day they're all sitting on the floor. Like, uh-oh. Little small bag of Cheetos. Because I don't like to drink without eating something. Now, let me tell you what happened last night. You guys know about the impromptu live stream I did last night, which was a lot of fun. That new place in my neighborhood, right? I'm gonna get my bag again. Oh. The new place in my neighborhood. And the reason I want some more cinnamon in this rum. And, you know, I had some sausage and some other stuff. It was, somebody gave me with garlic, and somebody gave me a pork rib to try. It's great. They're open tonight. I just drove by them, and I mean, it looks like they're, the karaoke's turned way down after 10. But it looks like the place is going to be real popular. I mean, if Mr. Wu would just open back up and do something, people want a place they can hang out in the neighborhood, you know, and not necessarily tied with, you know, the Vietnam karaoke girl scene, but just a place to drink beer and eat some food, maybe inside, maybe outside. That looks like it's going to be it. So that could be one of my new places to hang out. But what I did after that, I was in the mood to ride. So I rode all the way to the end of my neighborhood, took a ride, and went down to a bridge, and this bridge crosses the highway. Now, I've been doing some research on Google Maps and using the satellite view. Hey, fist bump. Driving up and down that highway, I live very close to the highway exit, and I go south to pick up Phoenix and just go to Big. Everything that I want to do, I go south into Jubei and Century City. And I pass by on the right-hand side. There's a rest area on the southbound lane. But directly across them on the northbound lane is another rest area. So they're twin rest areas. If you look on the map, they're right beside each other. They're offset a little bit, but they're basically, it's the same exit. So there's a side road off that bridge that goes to a gate into the northbound side rest area. Now, it used to be that there was a wall and a door, and they left the door open. I just ride my bike in there. It's pretty funny to be in a highway rest area and see a bike, because absolutely you're not allowed to ride bikes at all, motorcycles even, on the highway here, the freeway they call it. But they have replaced it with this one of those expanded gates, anyway. But it's real easy to just walk your bike around the end. In fact, it almost looks like they made it that way, so you could walk there. So I rode my bike in there last night. I rode my bike into the northbound side rest area. But I found a mysterious road. The road is not on the map, but it's on the satellite version. On the satellite, and I'm probably gonna do a video about this just because I like stuff like this, and I like to look for things. I can't use my drone because it's near the highway, but I found something over here that's really weird, and I did photograph it. I'm going to do a drone on that pretty soon. But getting back to the freeway, I looked at Google Maps in the parking lot. It shows it, but it shows this road kind of going up a hill beside the highway. And I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I bet that is, but I couldn't find it on the maps too clearly because on both sides it's kind of covered in trees, especially this road crosses the highway. See, I suspected that it was an access road, from one rest area to the other. And so it was about, I don't know, what time did I quit my live stream last night? I don't know. It's like about half an hour, 40 minutes after that, I just rode up it. It was a hill, but it wasn't very steep. And I took a sharp right turn. So here's what I found. After I took the right turn, I found myself on this road. Now I gotta find out, I was talking about this the other day. This picture is taken in 16:9, yet on Prism it's displaying in like 4:3. So this is my bike with the front headlight, and this is the tiny road that crosses the highway. And there's a monster telecom tower at the end. And this is what, the highways looks like from this bridge. It's pretty impressive because it's it's 3 lanes and a breakdown lane on each side. So then, that's the other side. Now this is looking, north from the, hey boy. Hey Philip, see Philip. Hey Matthew, how you doing? Fist bump, man. Good to see you. Sorry, I was reading Philip. So this is the northbound side, and I did another format shot. I gotta figure out, when I look at these photos on my iPhone, they're 16:9. Does anybody else experience that? I forgot when I get in these when I get in the live stream, then I remember. During the day, I don't know what to tell you. Hang on a second. I don't have any pictures in my Prism library that I didn't take on this phone. In fact, this is one that I took a couple of weeks ago, right? And it's, gosh, I don't know what's going on. But the graphics that I make like this are full screen. I got to talk to Jake about that. But anyway, I found that. Road that goes across the bridge. So I went to the other side, and I got a beautiful. That's over there. It's really clean. I got a beautiful bathroom. So now I know if I'm in that area of town, I can just walk past that gate, right up across the highway. Got a beautiful bathroom. So when I was all done, I rode into town and saw my Thai friend, Adi. And Adi met Noel Richard when he was here back in January. And he asked me how Noel was doing. So I said, I don't know. Let's take a picture and I'll tag him. I did not tag Noel on Twitter. I tagged him in our line group. A lot more convenient. But again, that's full screen. Gosh, I don't know what to do. I really don't. I mean, I don't know how to fix that. Any ideas? I don't know. So how you guys doing? Anyway, so that's one of the, and I wasn't planning on doing that. I was planning on doing it during the day. But I've got a mount on the front. Look at my shirt, guys. It's like I'm sweating like a pig. And I can very securely mount my new iPhone 14 Pro Max to the handlebars and go for a ride. I've also got an action camera too. So I think I might just do an action camera and ride that. But I kind of take a careful look and see what the restrictions are for cars. I rode my bike there. I don't think anybody cares. But the funny thing is, when you're headed south on the highway and you take that exit, you can just drive your car over to where those restrooms are, and that access road is right beside it. And I did not see any signs prohibiting people from using it, because that's one way to cross the highway. You know, you go to the other side, you can get back on the freeway, right? However, on the northbound side, you come off the highway, and to get to that access road, you have to do a very, 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 very sharp, I mean, like ridiculous, like probably like a Y turn to go back around. And there are some signs that tell you, you know, that there's access hours and stuff. But from where I live, I go south. I go south, 199 times out of 200. I go south. I go north for almost nothing. So there have been times when I've gone south and my wife's like, oh, or I go, oh man, I forgot, I got to go back. And we go all the way down to Jubei exit. So I may just try that, because I didn't see a sign on the southbound side of the highway that said no entry. But I can always get off the highway onto the rest area, drive over there in the daytime, take a good look. If it doesn't say, like vendor supply vehicles only or anything like that, I'm just going to take it, come out the other side, and then it puts me, it would cut my return time to go back home in less than half. That'd be really cool. Made for a nice ride. So I did about 5 kilometers last night, and I've done 2.5 tonight. I think I'm done, but I got to get my recumbent trike going. I got to put it in the shop, get it tuned up. It's been sitting in my foyer, and the sun does take a toll on it. I've had it since 2016, and No, wait a minute. What am I saying? I've had that thing since 2008. Yeah, wow. And this seat is mesh. It's very, very well made. And it was in two pieces. It's attached by Velcro. But I'm afraid that the sun may have made it rotten. And the last thing I want is to be 20 kilometers away and my butt falls through the thing. But you know, that was the TW Bents, TW-BENTS was the company. They since have sold that to a company called eFun, which is E-FUN, Bikes, and they're another Taiwan company. They're in Miaoli, and I had a little bracket break, and I've been trying for 5 years to get it replaced. They just don't want to pay attention to me, so I'm either going to have to drive down there, because I know the boss. I met him, and I'm either have to go and go, look, I'm a boss. I want to talk to your boss, Nelson Lin. He's met me, and I'm tired of this crap, or I just got to take it to the bike shop and let him call them down there and talk in Taiwanese and say, I'm a bike shop owner and I need to order some parts. But one way or another, I got to get this thing tuned up, because right now we're in the middle of the heat season, but about the time Phoenix is ready to go back to school, I want to start riding that thing a couple of times a week, at least 10 to 20 kilometers per trip. I really want to start racking up some miles on it. So, oh, I understand. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Jan. You know, I wish that the wrapping. Maybe we can talk to Jake about word wrap. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Remind me, I got two things to talk about, Jake. I got to talk about the 16x9 and so yeah. But there you go. So that's my, plan for the trike and to get it going. There's another person walking a dog. A lady walking her dog this time. This guy had a big dog, and he had a long leash, one of those kind of leashes, retractable. And he let the dog come like right over to me. The dog was sniffing, but he was friendly. He's big though. I'm sitting here, his head was the same height as me. So, but he looked like a golden retriever, or I guess there's a lab. That's not all labs are dark. It's a light colored lab. I don't know, but anyway, nice dog. I'm enjoying this rum, and it's not too strong, so it's pretty good. So what's going on with you guys? Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about was, I told you I had plans to go to the Miaoli tourist night market. Just watching the dog walk. And it is a huge night market. I don't remember if I did this. If I didn't do it, I'm going to put the Google Maps link into our line group. But I want to go there, and I want to do a live stream from that night market. It's open to midnight every night. It's amazing. It's huge. And I'm going to use the community. I haven't been using my community very, very much. Excuse me. Oh, that was bad lately, because I'm just really been too busy. I'll get to that in a second. But I can put a link to the Google Maps, in the community, and let you guys know what I do, because I really, really want to show that. Now, tonight's broadcast, we're simulcasting to Africa TV in Korea, YouTube, Facebook, and Kick.com. Now, I was talking to our pal Kenra today, and some others in our line group that we have for the, live streaming tech folks, and kick is, let me back up. What I want to talk about just for a second is about how busy I am. I think I'm almost done with my album work. I'm going to tweak the EQ, I think, on 2 songs, just in the mastering. I'm just going to go back to the mastering project, but I think I'm done, and then I'm committed to finishing at least 1, but probably 2 of my own songs and releasing them. I got to release them. I got to release something. Got to get it out there. Then I'm going to go back to work on Robert Monahan's tune. He's got a tune that's just outrageously good, but it's it takes 2 months for me to finish it, and I don't want to do that until I finish my own stuff. All right, so getting back to Kick, there are a lot of platforms that are technologically good, and one of the things that I point out is that some things have a reputation, whether they're deserved or not. Let me give you an example. In the 90s, I was an infopreneur. I had some entrepreneur projects going on that involved information, the selling of information. And I owned several 900 numbers. You guys remember those from years ago? A 900 number is a pay per minute number. And these numbers ended up being used for like sex chat. But that's not what 900 numbers were designed for. In the United States, 900 numbers were simply for the dissemination of information for a price. $1 a minute, $2.99 a minute, or whatever, And I think I owned 5 of them, if I recall. Anyway, here's what happened. It was FidoNet, I think, that we used back then. Anyway, there were some non-internet computer networks that were in existence back then, and I advertised that I owned these 900 numbers. And what I did was I simply offered them to people to use for free, and all we would do is split the return 50-50. They didn't have to do any investment, they didn't have to do anything except provide the content. But I provided the number, and because at that time there was a considerable investment getting the 900 numbers working in the first place, right? So here's what happened. In my life, I have met some amazing people, but some of them I never actually met in person. And in my 900 number enterprise, there is a woman, I'm talking 1991, and I still remember her like yesterday. She lived in the lower part of New England. Her name was Sylvia Cherry. And she contacted me, and what I did was I told everybody, I said, if you, I've got the 900 numbers, and if you're interested in doing a joint venture, I'll give you the use of my 900 number. All I need from you is, just give me a 1-page pitch. What would you do with a 900 number? So this woman, Sylvia, she called me, and she said, I'm interested in a 900 number. I said, okay. What's your idea? And she said, well, I got 3 kids, and they're always asking me for money. They come home from school and they want a candy bar, this and that other thing. And what I have done is I've come up with ways that kids can make money for themselves. I'm like, really? That's pretty cool. Okay, just write down 10 of these ideas and just send me an email. She said, okay. She hung up. She gave me 100. 100. She said, oh, I got a lot more than that. I go, you got to be kidding me. She said, yeah, I just want to do a 900 number where every day I just tell like a mother or a father an idea so their kid can make a little extra money, on their own, doing, just basically like chores in the neighborhood and stuff. Stuff I never thought of. This Sylvia Cherry person was a visionary. I never met her, but boy, she didn't know, but she pegged the respect meter, right? So she sent me this 100 list. I said, you got it. So here's all you have to do. Now here was the hit with the 900 numbers. Here was the only hit. The 900 number has what they call a service bureau. It's just a data center. And what you do is you call in on your number and then you enter your security code and it gives you access. It's basically like a voicemail system. This is for non-live, non-interactive like the sex chat. This is just where, hi, this is MJ Klein and today I've got a special tip for you. That kind of stuff, right? So the only hit is this place was in Nevada and she lived in, I'm going to say, Connecticut. And so she did have to make a long distance call every morning. Now today, that wouldn't be a big deal because with, voice over IP and with cellular, there's no long distance. But that was just on the edge. I mean, I had a cellular phone in 1989, but almost nobody did. Very few people. And in 1991, you met a lot of people that didn't have phones yet, right? And so I felt really bad, but I mean, every month the thing would come in and I mean, the invoice would come in. Nobody was calling. Nobody was calling her numbers. Now, here's what I'm getting at. When I said earlier that some things have a reputation, Sylvia, being the amazing person that she is, composed a flyer. And she went to the parks in her area and handed the flyer to the mothers. Later she called me and she said, I'm having a really big problem promoting this number. I said, why? She said, well, I went to the parks. She told me about this and I was like, man, my heart was like, I sympathized completely. She handed a piece of paper to a mother and it was about a 900 number where parents could call to find ways that their kids could make extra money, could make money doing, stuff after school, right? Just like what I said. The mother saw 900 number and said, you should be ashamed of yourself. This is a playground with children. You're promoting this filth. Because she associated 900 numbers with pornographic content. That same kind of association, I would say, in my opinion, exists today with OnlyFans. If I told you guys that I had a complete course in mixing records on OnlyFans, you would laugh at me. You would think I was an idiot for putting it on OnlyFans because nobody would take it seriously. What am I going to mix without my shirt on? I mean, what am I going to do? I mean, seriously, there are these associations, and the problem is, Twitch is associated with games, but they also had a problem with the hot tub girls. But on kick.com, it is a technologically sophisticated live streaming platform. And right here in this section, I have a chat box. Anybody who is on Kick watching this broadcast, because I am RTMP streaming to Kick, can type and we will see it here. And everybody on YouTube and Facebook and Africa TV will see it, and you guys can talk to each other and stuff. That's what I'm doing. But the problem is Kick has a big hot tub and bikini girl. I mean, there's a hot tub and bikini like category. And so Ken Rod today, well, he said, and I'm not speaking for him, and I don't think this is confidential information, and I really don't think that he will mind saying, because he did say this, you know, in the group, but he did one broadcast on Kick, and then he noticed the content, so he decided to delete, you know, his content and sign out. He deleted the app because he doesn't want to appear to condone those kinds of activities. Now, I really appreciate that. You know, being who I am and you know, my belief system and what I stand for. However, I will say this. Kick is a platform. And it really depends on your own conscience, and I respect a person's conscience. But here's the thing. Back in the old days, one of the best advertising values, if you want to sell something, was Playboy magazine. You don't even have to have a product that's aligned with the type of content and photography and so forth that's in the magazine. You could sell like a TV antenna for your house or something, but millions and millions of people would see it. And so, you know, if you advertise in the New York Times, does that mean that you're aligned with the politics or the Washington Post? No. It just means that you are advertising with them. And, you know, there's a lot of objectionable content on YouTube. YouTube has a dark side. And, I mean, there are, you know, how many hundreds of billions of person hours worth of stuff? I mean, every day. And you can't moderate it all, and you can find some really dirty and nasty stuff on YouTube. But I'm not doing it. So I'm in the just chatting. I tried some of the broadcasting and Kick on the travel, but you know, the travel one that seemed kind of, I don't know. I don't want to be associated with them either. Bunch of hedonistic guys in Pattaya and Phuket and Thailand, and you know what gets me is these stupid idiot foreigners. They think these bar girls are pretty. They're nasty. You have no. I mean, just because, I'm going to say this, just because a woman is Asian doesn't mean she's automatically beautiful. Okay, you guys, if you think that's true, you got no experience. I mean, nobody is automatically beautiful because they fall into a certain category or an ethnicity. But I mean, I see these guys on, I've seen them on YouTube and I've seen them on Kick a lot. They're in these bars, man. I wouldn't even, I mean, I'd take a shower. I'd set foot in there and go, I'd go home I'd go in my room and take a shower just to wash it off. I mean, these guys think these women are great. There's a lot of this, you know, and the comments, oh my goodness, the people making the comments, they don't even refer to them as women. Use your own imagination. It's just this terrible. So I can perfectly understand what Ken Rod is saying, and believe me, I do not disagree at all. But Ken Rod, I know you'll probably watch the replay, but Ken Rod, you're not doing that. And you're doing coffee reviews and just chatting with people and being your usual, very friendly and person of integrity with high elevated morals that you are. So yeah, I mean, you're a model father, if you ask me. And anyway, so sometimes, I mean, it's not like, how did somebody put it one time? You wouldn't use a pulpit in another church to preach your sermon. So I wouldn't necessarily go on any platform with the specific purpose of trying to counteract whatever it is they're doing. They can do whatever they want. Freedom of and freedom from. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And I'm just testing out Kick. And so far I've got like 1 or 2 views. So it's not that, I mean, at this point it's kind of moot. But, I'll probably give it a month. I don't even know what the rules are. I don't even know what the retention is for the videos. If it's like Twitch and they disappear in 2 weeks. I haven't been on that long. I just want to check it out. And Dave told me about it. And technologically, it is a nice platform. It's really good. But Heckle has just become, I mean, I was watching it today, and Heckle has some serious tech problems. Like the it comes on, and there's a message. I mean, there's an actual comment that comes on that says so and so's live streaming. Like, okay, why do you need that? But it comes on, and within the first 10 seconds, it goes black for 1 or 2 seconds, and then it comes back. And often it'll go black in and out. I'm like, what's going on? And trying to scrub, like, okay, so they're going blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, you know what I want to do? I want to see what they're getting into. And everybody does that. You guys watch my replays, and, I'm talking about something that you're not interested in. So you go, okay, I wish I could automatically chapterize these things, but I can't. But you know what I'm saying? And you want to, and like, if you go back later, you go, okay, I want to play that back again. So-and-so said this, and I think they said it about here. Well, if you do that in Heckle, you might as well go cook breakfast. Put on a pot of coffee and let it percolate. And by the time breakfast is ready and coffee's ready, then it's ready to play back. It's just painful. Oh, it's bad. And the audio always, when it comes on, it's and then it's silent, and then it's just can't. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be using Heckle either. But that is a place where I would say there's a high percentage of kind of weird stuff. So, you follow somebody, right? Because I on Kick. I looking around. And what I was doing was, in the just chatting, I was clicking on anybody that looked normal. Man or woman, doesn't matter. Just click on people that look normal. And I happened to click on this female, and she's sitting in a cafe, and she's dressed nicely, so I'm like, okay, that's good. She had a hat on and shades, nice surroundings, and she was having a decent conversation with people, men and women, and there was no profanity. I said, oh, this is pretty cool. And she seemed interesting, and I asked her, roughly where are you? She says, I'm in Southern Europe. I go, oh, that's cool. So I decided to follow her. When you follow people, you should go to some kind of, this is my official recommendation, you should go to some kind of unfiltered search engine. Like, in my case, I use Surfshark VPN, and they have a completely private and uncensored search. You should always search on this person's username. She's an OnlyFans girl. Unfollow. But she's putting on the nice persona. So at some point, here's what happens. See, they have Linktree and other ways of, where you can find the dark stuff if you want to. Like they got this really, cutesy persona above board, so I'm cool, and don't worry, your wife won't mind, right? So, hey, Kenrod, fist bump. We're just talking about you, bro, and don't worry, it's all good. We're talking about what you were saying today about Kik and how you didn't want to associate stuff, and I fully support that, and I back you up 100%. And I was relating how I'll just say it again because you just joined. I was looking in the just chatting, and I was just looking at people, men, women, doesn't matter. As long as they look, like normal people. And I happened to go into a live stream by a woman dressed decently, and speaking decently, and the conversation was nice, and she was dressed nice. It was a nice atmosphere. She was at a cafe, and I asked her where she was from. She said she was in Southern Europe. And I said, oh, okay, cool. And I decided to follow her. And I watched one more live stream, and she was okay. She was sitting like lounging somewhere and just, in a lounge chair and talking with people. But what I was saying before you came in, everybody needs to have some kind of an uncensored, open search. Like, I use Surfshark VPN, and they have Surfshark 1, and it's a completely unfiltered search engine, anonymous. And, people use that like when they don't want their wife to find out that, they're looking at porn. Okay, but having that ability means that you can search for anything. And I just put her username in and found out she's an OnlyFans girl. So I unfollowed her immediately. What happens is a lot of these people will go on a live stream and seem all innocent and nice, but in their profile there'll be a link like to Linktree or what is it, Slink, and some other ones, where you go to and it's a page full of links, and that's where you find the dark stuff. And so after I wanted to verify that, after I saw, oh man, this is an OnlyFans girl, I went back to her Kik profile, and I checked the Linktree, and sure enough, there was an OnlyFans link in there. So I should have done that first. But yeah. So, but here's the thing, Ken. You're not like that. You're not doing that stuff. You're doing coffee reviews. And so, yeah. Just because you're on the platform doesn't mean you condone what other people are doing any more than if you were to, I used this example before, if you were to advertise in the Washington Post or the New York Times, it wouldn't mean that you aligned yourself with their politics. But yeah. But I say, whatever your conscience tells you to do, you do it. I'm going to give Kik about a month, see what happens. But there's a lot of hedonistic content on there, and you can go back and and watch the replay and see what I said about it. But I happen to mention what you said because it wasn't private. You didn't say it to me directly. You said it in the group of the live streamers, and I thought it was a relevant topic to talk about. And I also talked about some experiences I had in the early 90s when with 900 numbers. That's too bad you missed that. But I hope you'll watch the replay because I go into some details. I used to own some 900 numbers, and I didn't use them for the content that became associated with 900 numbers. Just use them for information. They used to call us infopreneurs, information entrepreneurs. And to be perfectly honest with you, I tried all these ventures. I never made a single penny out of any of them. And if you want to know what killed the 900 number business, I know for a fact. Because as soon as that happened, I had a discussion with the owner of the service bureau where I got my 900 numbers from, and I said, it's over. Better find something else to do. The guy's name was Lance A. Strauss. Congress passed a law. See, here's what happened. If you would dial a 900 number, it would show up on your phone bill. And if you didn't pay that 900 number fee, the phone company could shut your phone off for non-payment. Because what happened was, back in those days, if you called a 900 number, I mean, some of these guys were just, they're lonely, and they would say, "Oh, it's only $1, it's only $1 a minute." They're talking to some woman on the other end, and 3 hours later, like, "Oh my gosh, and I have a job," and like, "Oh man," so yeah, that's what happens. So the phone company pays that, and then you owe the phone company money. But Congress passed a law that said that you cannot have your phone service disconnected for non-payment of 900 numbers, so nobody paid them. But before that, they used to have chargebacks. And a chargeback. Ken? All right, you asked me. No, I know what you mean. I don't want to tell you the answer to that question. And the reason is because I consider you, a brother. You know what I mean? And I don't want to influence you. Here's what I want you to think about. Now, you can answer this question here or just consider a hypothetical question. But here's the question. Does it bother your conscience if you do your coffee reviews on Kick? Does it bother your conscience? Now, you don't have to answer that. You can if you want to, but it's a hypothetical question. But the answer to that question, yeah, I know you did. I know you did. So I think, because of that, I think the answer to your question is yes. So here's the thing. You cannot allow your conscience to be guided by somebody else, by another human, right? This is a problem in marriages. I don't know why, but often, because I'm an expert on marriage, I've been married 3 times. In every single case, my wife's conscience ends up being the standard for both of us. But that's not how it works. Yeah, I understand. That's not a bad idea. There are many husbands who have to deal with their wife's conscience. Their conscience bothers them, but the husband, because they have a different threshold, or, they view things differently, right? So I know you do. I know you do. And I appreciate that. And I think highly of your opinion too. But I think more highly of your conscience. And I will say this. All right, I will tell you. I think it's okay because you are in the clear. It's a platform. And it could be argued, and before you came into the live stream, I talked, how long have I been talking? 57. I probably devoted about half an hour to this. You have to go back and look at it. But YouTube has a dark side too. YouTube has a very dark side, and you can find it if you want to. I mean, you can't possibly moderate everything. You can find all kinds of stuff on. I've seen stuff on YouTube and I was like, what is that doing on YouTube? It's a platform, and just because there are people that do Bible readings on YouTube, right? And then there are other people that are like, they're mainlining. There's no. You're not condoning the activity of everyone else just because you use the platform, any more than you condone the activity of criminals who use a certain kind of tool, but you own that tool, but you just don't do crimes with it. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, I'll answer your question. I think it's perfectly fine for you to be on Kick because you do coffee reviews. Nobody can point to you and say that, what you're doing is conforming to that stuff that you hate. But if it bothers your conscience and you're worried about the association, don't do it. Because I'll tell you, OnlyFans is I assume, because I've never actually viewed anything on OnlyFans, but I assume it is a technologically proficient platform. But I would not post like a how-to or a technical series of tutorials on OnlyFans because of the reputation. You know what I'm saying? But there would be nothing wrong with that. There would be nothing morally wrong with that. I mean, you guys know I have a considerable amount of Bible knowledge. I mean, one of the things that the Pharisees accused Jesus with, they're like, you're sitting you're eating at the table with prostitutes and tax collectors. And Jesus is like, well, yeah, they need me. They need my help. I mean, just because, yeah, doesn't mean, yeah. But the Pharisees will always try to get you. And there are Pharisees everywhere. They'll always try to associate you like that. Oh, Ken Rod, you're doing a coffee break, but you're doing it in a Just Chat. And that's where the girls, try to hook the guys for their OnlyFans. Well, I think, if you watch one of your coffee reviews, I think it's pretty clear that you're not in that category. Yeah, I know you do. I know you get it. It's amazing. Oh, man, the Pharisees, I mean, everything they could try to get Jesus on. They call him a drunkard. because he drank wine. Well, you know, the Mosaic Law required you to drink wine at the Passover. Duh. So the Pharisees drank wine too. No, but because you drink wine, you're a drunk. I'm not, because I'm a Pharisee. There's hypocrisy everywhere. So, Ken, I would not believe anything that anybody told me untoward about you or your family. I said earlier on in tonight's broadcast, I consider you to be an exemplary, a good example, how bang的, an exemplary father and husband. That's how I view you. And I would say that everybody that knows you, and certainly everybody on my channel, and all my followers that know you would say the same thing. So, there's no need to thank me. If anything, I want to thank you for being that way. But here's the funny thing. Just because a person is above reproach doesn't make them free from reproach. Isn't that amazing? You know the old saying, right? It takes years to build a reputation and only seconds to destroy it, right? And what I learned a long time ago is it doesn't matter what you do and what you are. I mean, it does, but it doesn't matter what you do or what you are as much as it matters what people think you do and what people think you are. And sometimes it can be hard, I mean, just to live down an outrageously false accusation. Like Dave and I talked about this. You know, Art Bell, right? I mean, somebody started a rumor with Art Bell about him being racist against Filipinos and all this other stuff. His wife's Filipino. I mean, it was crazy. Finally, it came out. Somebody wrote an article and said, no, what are you talking about? But this controversy went on for a long time. And so this is how your enemies get you. So the other thing you have to consider is your exposure. How far are you putting yourself out there? This far or that far? To me, Kick is no different than Twitch. It's no different than YouTube. As a platform, maybe the motivations of the people might be slightly different. The audience might be slightly different. But, you know, the Bible says that the inclination of the heart of humankind is bad all the time. And that's proving to be true. So, the only person you can control is you. But Ken, last thing I want to see. Oh, I missed that. Hang on. Yes, never judge a book by its cover. But that's what everybody does. That's what everybody does. Right? Like these YouTubers, right? You see they guy's going to the camera, goes, there's a girl sitting by herself. I'm gonna go sit down and talk to her, right? And then sit down. Hi, how are you? Hi, what's your name? Cindy. If I sat down, I go, hey, how are you? And they go, Ew, get away from me, you creepy old man. Same approach. I might have more money in my pocket than that guy, because those guys that are like, I'm giving $100 to people who will let me sit down, right, and talk to them, right? I would have to have the money. I would have to walk up to them like with $100 fanned out in my hand. Do you mind if I sit down? Is it okay? And lay it down on the table. Yeah, sure. So people do judge, by the cover. But ultimately, it's the behavior that matters. Unfortunately, when it comes to things like music and stuff, that's why I'm not worried about the fact that I'm actually getting significantly older than a lot of new artists. I still have much of my old ability, so if I come out with a new record, people don't see my picture. They hear the record and they're like, oh, okay, I like this or I don't like it based on the record. And trust me, I'm not going to be the love interest in the music video. You don't want to see that. Be hilarious. But Ken, I don't want to see you like reactivate your account and go back to Kicks just because MJ said it was okay. I mean, you got to, at the end of the day, let me say this. Somebody said this to me one time. I think this is one of the greatest quotes that I've ever heard. And it's simply, there is no softer pillow than a clean conscience. And if you ever sat up at night worrying about nefarious things that could go on in the background that people might be doing. Hey, I was in the record business, so yeah, I have. It sucks. And you don't want that. Because, like I said before, often people, it doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter what you actually do or say. It just, matters what people think you did or you said. There's years ago, Colby, he's in our line group. You guys know Colby, aka Cheese Knife. He and I used to hang out with some friends in New Hampshire, and I wasn't married. A couple of girls, and there was one girl named Nat, and well, okay, but don't let me overly influence you. Just take what I said, as like one, just one aspect. And at the end of the day, it's your pillow. And I don't want to make your pillow any harder than it has to be. So, there's one thing I regret. Nat was nice. I liked her, and she was dating somebody that I knew, But I'd go to, actually, Chris, who's passed away, Colby's twin brother passed away from leukemia, by the way. It was terrible. And his girlfriend, who he eventually married, became his wife. She was friends with Nat. That's how we knew her. And one day Nat came up to me and said, MJ, why did you say those things about me? I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, oh, so-and-so said you said this and that other thing. And I said, no, I didn't say that. But what happened was, at that very moment, there was a lot going on. And I thought, I don't know why, but these random thoughts pop in your head, right? The other day I said, I should have nipped that crap in the bud. Because somebody said something. I liked the girl. I thought she was nice. She was always nice to me. What? Somebody's nice to me. What's the problem, right? Well, people sometimes, they fester, they cook stuff in their head, they cook it, you know? And by the time I saw her again 2 weeks later, I mean, she was ready, excuse me, to stab me for something that I never said. No sentiment that I ever expressed. I don't know why whoever it was said that, but some people like to make trouble, you know. You can't control that. You can't control what other people do. But the fact is, and this is what Nat didn't stop to think. Did I treat her like that? No. She rode in the back seat of my car with other friends, and we went to clubs, and you know, I paid the bill, and I treated her like a normal person. I never did anything bad to her, or wasn't, you know, mean or nasty. It didn't come on to her, you know, or nothing, just normal stuff. So, but to use the example of Jesus again, the Bible says he never committed a sin, yet they nailed him to a hunk of wood. So, somebody may nail you even if you haven't done anything wrong. So all I can say is just make sure that your conscience is clear. You're doing what you think you should be doing. And because the other thing too is when you're a live streamer, you put yourself out there. I mean, I'm not that big. I'm a small fry. When you talk about guys like, you know, Mr. Beast and all that, I'm a small fry. But I could just imagine if I had 10 million followers, I'd have to hire a manager, because Daniel Batal has a manager, and you know, he's not super huge, but I mean, it could be a lot worse. And Metallica, what's that? What's the guitar player of Metallica? I heard him say, I don't remember. He said that at least at any point in time, Metallica, the band, has at least 5 lawsuits against them. Frivolous lawsuits, just fans, just doing stuff because they look at them as, oh, these guys are rich. They got a lot of money. So yeah, I'll file some frivolous lawsuit and they'll give me $20,000 just to shut me up. That's what they do. So could be a lot worse. I qualify for a Wikipedia page, and I just thank goodness that nobody's written one. Because it's funny, almost everybody that I ever worked with in the music business has Wikipedia pages that link back to projects and things that I was involved with, but they didn't mention me. Okay. Because once you get a Wikipedia page, you can't delete it. And people can say anything that they want. So like, you know, one of your old girlfriends that didn't like you, aha, here's my chance to get back at you. Yeah. And until an unbiased editor comes along and says, you know what, that doesn't look right. And they don't notify you. Like TC Lin. TC space Lin. I know him. He's famous in Taiwan. He's an American citizen that was one of the earliest naturalized Taiwan citizens. Gave up his U.S. citizenship. He wrote a book. He went in the military here. And I saw him on Periscope. Gosh, this must have been about 7 years ago. And he was just he had his phone up and he was just typing some stuff. And I mentioned in Periscope, I said, yeah, I was reading your Wikipedia page. And he's like, pfft. And I said, it said this and that. And I said, that was interesting because I didn't know that about you. And he looked at the phone and he goes, seriously? What he meant was, do they seriously have a Wikipedia page? I said, yeah. So go to Wikipedia, T.C. Lin. And he wrote a book about it. He wrote a book in Chinese, actually. I give the guy a lot of credit, man. His Chinese is amazing. I've done a number of things with him, like hanging out and stuff. And if you look at my blog, last time I think I saw him, might have been the Beaton Music Fest when I was playing with a Thai band, but my gut was a lot bigger back then, and he was joking. He said his gut's getting big too, but anyway. Like Chris Rock says, they're out to get you. But he said he wasn't looking for Ted Koppel. Anyway, yeah, that's, wow, we covered a lot of ground, a lot of topics. This makes me think that we should actually have a real talk show. I don't know. Dean, take care, thanks. We should actually have a real talk show. You know what I wish I could do? I wish I had the finances to do a shortwave broadcast. Now, Taiwan does have, it used to be called, what was it called? Oh, years ago. I used to listen, back in America, I used to listen to the Voice of Free China. Now it's called Radio Taiwan International, RTI. Now, there's a radio network in Taiwan called ICRT, and I joke about it because I call it I can't really tell because their format jumps around, you know. ICRT used to be the Armed Forces Radio Network, and then it was privatized when the U.S. military left Taiwan. Radio is amazing. If you got enough money, you can just buy time. Like back in the old days when I had my national talk show on the Talk America Radio Network, a 1-hour show on Sunday afternoon cost $5,000 US. And if you have, excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, it's $1,000 an hour. If you have a 1-hour show, 5 days a week, it's $1,000 an hour. But you can easily make that back in advertising. Because if you're hitting 30, 40 states, right? But Radio Taiwan International is, I think it's government sponsored, but man, I would love to have an international talk show where people all over the world could call. And here's the thing, with voice over IP, right? Like even my business. You know something? I'm going to tell you something. This is amazing. There are over 150 countries that I can have a toll-free number for $5 a month. That's unreal. And for a radio program, that's not that much money. So if you had like 10 of the major, let's say you had 10 of the major European, let's just say you had 20 of the major European nations, and you had several of the major Asian nations, let's just say altogether maybe you had 50 toll-free numbers where people in those countries could call your show for free. That would be manageable. But could you imagine having, Late Night with MJ Klein from Taiwan on shortwave radio? Because they broadcast on at least 5 different frequencies in several bands. That'd be the nuts, man. because it would be uncut, unmitigated. Of course, we'd have a 7-second delay for profanity just because I wouldn't want that on my show, but people could ask unfiltered questions because a lot of people don't understand the relationship between Taiwan and China. They don't understand anything about Taiwan itself. Gosh, I wonder if I could pitch that. You know what though? I gotta be real. I'm 67, I don't have that much time. But what a cool project. What do you guys think? It does sound cool, doesn't it? I should set up a meeting with them. I don't think anybody's ever done anything like that. I think that would be a first in the world. If you just said, go to, rti.com and, there has to be a web page with an easy URL, and then so no, nobody has done anything like that. And the truth of it is, except for the shortwave part about it, I could afford to do that myself, personally, just on a live stream. Because, I have an 800 number just for me. It's an 888 number, a toll-free number just for me. Rings on my phone. But I could, right away, okay, look, let's just say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, right? $50 a month. That's 10. That's 10 countries. So I could just say, okay, UK, France, let's say, Germany, let's say Netherlands, okay, and I don't know, Russia maybe because it's huge. Politics aside, then that's only 5. Got 5 more, right? I mean, I think I can afford $50 a month, and I could have people calling in from all over the world. With just, I can put up a website in an hour, and it's free for me because I already have a hosting account, and I could just have the toll-free numbers for the different countries, and I could just sit here all day and take calls. But the problem is it would be on YouTube or it'd be on Kick or other things. But I could absolutely sell advertising like crazy if I had callers from all those different countries, But the problem is once again it's getting the word out, that you're there, and I think that's harder to do on shortwave. And shortwave requires hardware. Although there are a lot of really great software radios, and there are a lot of websites that you can connect to that have they're connected to shortwave radio, and you could just plug in the frequency that you want to listen to, and you listen to it on your computer. But yeah, that'd be something to think about. I think probably the best way to do that would be to eliminate the outside platforms, to just put a website at therealtaiwan.tv with its own live streaming directly to that site, its own chat right to that site, and a list of phone numbers around the world, and just do a talk show. I think that's probably the way to do it. But man, it would be so cool to go. I'm not interested in ICRT. I listen to ICRT. Those guys, it's kind of like working for ICRT is like, do you speak English? Yeah, okay, you got the job. I heard a newsreader. He stumbled over every 3 or 4 words. It was ridiculous. It was terrible, And then I was at some place, the Lantern Festival, I think last year down in Kaohsiung with my family, and they had an ICRT booth. It was like some kind of trailer and stuff in the jocks, and I looked in there, and you know me, right? One look and I know, do you know what you're doing? Yes. No. Yes. No, I know. And the answer is no. So, Kenrod, take care. I got to consider all these things because I have limited time, but I think I'm going to call it a night because it is. What time is it? Oh, it's actually 12:30. I have a possibility of getting to bed before 2 a.m. tonight. Haha. This has been an absolutely fantastic time that I spent with all of you, and I appreciate it so much. And Ken, not trying to get my replay numbers up, but I hope you I hope you go back and listen to what I was saying earlier because it is relevant, and I did mention you, and you know what I said already, but I'm going to sign off. You guys take care. I'm going to say Zaijian, one an, fist bump to everybody. Yep. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you so much, you guys. And I know Jan has already split, but we'll see you guys next time. And over the weekend, I'm going to work on this album, and I'll catch you guys next week. And we'll say good night from Taiwan for now. Thank you so much. And here you go. Thank you. And in the spirit of the old days, here you go. Bye-bye.